Well folks, SmackDown kicked off with a banger of a promo from LA Knight. He let rip and he told us all exactly what happened last week, if you remember, with him and Drew McIntyre having a #1 contenders match for the US Championship title. Well, he brought up that it was Damian Priest's fault that he lost, and obviously Priest's music hit and Priest came on down. Then we got into a back and forth of each other blaming the other for the reason it happened last week. LA Knight was like, well, because you lost at WrestleMania, you can't put the blame on me. You have no idea how this would have happened. If you never got involved, I could have won. And then obviously you had Priest, well, if you didn't lose your title at Mania, we wouldn't be here either. So having it like that was actually really, really funny. But then obviously we actually had a match between these two scheduled for later on in the show. And both of them were just like, let's get a ref down here, let's not wait, let's do it now. And that is exactly what happened. Now the match wasn't bad, it was very entertaining, but we know how these two wrestle and there wasn't anything new between them. It was almost like a paint by numbers. But obviously with this though, we actually had Solo Sikoa again come on down and cause another DQ. Priest and Knight teamed up and took out Solo, but for some unknown reason, we were about to have Fatu Samoan drop LA Knight through the table. And what happened? Well, the camera guy in the truck changed to a different angle and we didn't even see it. Yeah, it was absolutely ridiculous and that guy needs a talking to because that would have been a good spot. It really would have. But one thing I am getting a bit annoyed though, we are not seeing Solo Sikoa in any matches. The guy is a solid and great worker. Just having him as like a manager and just interfering and causing DQs, it's like, come on. But we all know where this is going because later on in the evening, we actually had Nick Aldis say that at Backlash it's going to be a fatal 4-way, Damian Priest versus LA Knight versus Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu for the US Championship. Wouldn't surprise me if Solo intervenes and Fatu loses the championship, which will put those two on a collision course, maybe for SummerSlam or maybe a little bit later, no one knows. But like we said, it was a DQ match and we actually had a few of them during this evening. We then went straight into our second match, which was Pretty Deadly against Fraxium. The High Flyers did have the upper hand in the beginning, but Wilson and Prince, they actually found a way to use their size and strength to their advantage and they took control of the match. We did actually get a lot of double team offense from both teams, but Pretty Deadly had a good showing, but the match was about making Fraxium look good and it accomplished that. Seeing Fraxium now on the main roster as well after their great match last week, seeing them now, I think we are going to see them against the Street Profits, hopefully at Backlash, but maybe next week we may see something happen between them, which could push it even further down the line. But Fraser hit a Phoenix Splash for the pin in a fast-paced match, which was just really entertaining. I've drank my fair share of energy drinks, obviously, you know, Red Bull, Rockstar, Monster, all the likes, we've had them all. My most favourite is Monster Energy, but at this moment in time, I have actually been turned on to Rogue Energy. Now with this, I was actually just given a couple of sachets by a friend of mine, and she was like, try these. You know, they're great tasting and they're not as sugary as some of the other ones. Well, Rogue Energy is what I'm drinking now, folks, and to be honest with you, it is always great fun. And I was actually really surprised at how great their hydration and their chill ones are. I'm not much into the energy one, you know, the Rogue Energy, but the Rogue Hydration and the Rogue Chill ones, they got some of the best flavors out there. If you want to give it a try, you can actually sign up for a free tester. You will actually have to pay the postage and packaging though, which again, depending on where you are in the world, it can be anywhere from $6 to $12. And with that, you obviously get a shaker and you can choose 5 different flavors of the hydration, chill, or the energy. Link below, folks. Give it a go if you fancy it. Let us know if you like it or not. Now back to the show. After that great tag match, we rolled into Nia Jax just moaning on the mic about Tiffany Stratton and obviously how last week I did this to her, I stopped her, I took her out. And with this, obviously, Tiffy came on down and she interrupted Nia. We then had Naomi and Jade Cargill come down and it just turned out into an all-out war. Everyone was beating each other up. Obviously, Nia and Tiffy were having a go at each other, and Jade and Naomi were going at each other as well. Nick Aldis came on out, and he actually made a cool little reference to Teddy Long. He goes, if we're going to be like this and you want to so much have a fight, why don't we make this a tag team match later on tonight, player? And it was great to see him bring that up, because obviously he did a little wink to the camera as well. But with this though, going by how this tag team match went, which we will talk about after, I can see that these four women are going to be in a fatal four-way sometime, maybe next week, maybe not at Backlash because of the fatal four-way for the US Championship. It may be putting too many of those stipulation matches into the same show would get very boring. After that little spat between those four, we actually had our first proper match back of Aleister Black, who hasn't actually wrestled in a WWE ring since 2020. We had Aleister Black taking on The Miz, and to be honest with you, it was a very entertaining match, and I actually thought at first that they were just gonna let Aleister just steamroll over The Miz and get an easy win. Well, that's not what happened. This match was actually really competitive, and there was a lot of great little moves in it. And seeing that they've actually allowed The Miz and Aleister to actually have a wrestling match, instead of just, right, Miz, he's going to come out there, he's going to block you 2-3 times, then he's going to do Black Mass and get the win. I'm glad that kind of booking has kind of gone away, because if Vince McMahon was still in charge and Aleister Black came back, they would have been like, yeah, we're going to make it a squash match and get it over and done with, show everyone that he means business now he's back. And it's like, no. You need to have them actually doing a competitive match against other people. And especially with The Miz, who is coming up on 20 years in the WWE, which is insane. Him, along with Randy Orton, is one of the most consistent people who have been at the company every single show. And it's always great to see. But obviously with this one, Black did get the pin and he did get the win after hitting Black Mass. And he actually did this avoiding the distractions by Carmelo Hayes. Earlier in the night, we had the Secret Service and Chelsea Green speaking with Nick Aldis as she was demanding a recount, which is kind of interesting. But obviously Nick Aldis goes, don't you mean a rematch, against Zelina Vega for the US Women's Championship. But with all of this, Aldis actually spun it around and said, well, tonight we are going to have Zelina Vega take on Piper Niven. And obviously Chelsea's like, oh no, she pretended to faint and everything else. And I will keep saying this each week. Chelsea Green is the best superstar, male or female, on the SmackDown roster. Chelsea Green is just incredible, and the way she works and just her comedic timing is spot on. It's absolutely perfect. So obviously we did have Zelina Vega then taking on Piper, and the match was actually fun to watch. You know, we haven't really seen Piper in a match since the Gauntlet match for the tag team number one contendership before WrestleMania, and it's just nice to see her back in a match. Obviously, the match itself, it wasn't exactly over quickly, but it wasn't over too soon, but Vega used her actual small size and speed to get the upper hand. But Piper got back in the match and she took control after she actually dropped Zelina Vega on her face. But obviously with all of this, Chelsea Green did try to interfere, but she actually hit Piper instead and Zelina Vega got the pin for the win. Always great to see these girls wrestling and just going against each other. Doesn't matter if it's in the ring or backstage, they are always fun to watch. After Chelsea lost the match for Piper, Randy Orton made his way down to the ring and he cut a promo on John Cena, saying that he will be the next legend that he will conquer and take down. Now obviously, Randy Orton going against John Cena, this is the feud that nearly everyone wanted to see if Cena turned heel. Obviously it's all happened now and it is happening. To be honest with you though, I do wish that this would have been the last feud of Cena's retirement tour. Instead, we are going to see Cody more than likely win the belt back in December. And seeing how they're setting up Randy Orton against John Cena, and now they got a championship match next Saturday. You know, literally we're a week away from it now, from Backlash. I can see Cena and Orton going a little bit further, more than likely having a match concluding at SummerSlam. That's what I can see. Otherwise, you've just got 2.5 weeks of Orton against Cena as a feud. Ain't gonna happen. They're gonna want to put this longer and go for it that way. It was actually fun to see how Orton came out and he was like, Cena's got his name on a brand new coloured shirt, a brand new hat, a headband, a forearm band, a wristband, a leg band, a knee band on his sneakers, and he's got a little towel saying never give up. He goes, this guy is a bad guy and he's saying to you all to never give up? He kind of switched it on his head and it's almost like, actually, yeah. It's like he is playing a character. That's how it actually came across to me. And the way that he just goes, he's just another legend I'm going to have to put down, is just like, yes. Randy Orton, the legend killer. And I can see this more than likely ending with Orton losing nearly every match they have. Unless when Cody faces Cena in the, which is going to happen no matter what, Orton could be the one to actually help Cody win. He could take out The Rock, you never know. Straight after Orton, we actually had the highlight of the night. We had Rey Fenix against Santos Escobar, and all I can say about this match is that it was just phenomenal. This match was incredible, and it just goes to show how these two, well, whoever they get in the ring with, they are just fully compatible and they can have a match of the week, match of the month, hell, maybe even like a match of the year candidate. But again, no, it's Rey Fenix, it's Santos Escobar, and to be honest with you, it was nice seeing Escobar in an actual match again. It seems to be the theme this week is either going to be a DQ finish or it was going to be someone who hasn't wrestled since a month, 2-3 months ago, which is exactly what we got with Escobar. His last match was in February, and then before that, his last match was in December. But it was great to see these two just not have a big match every single time. Big spot, big spot, big spot. They told a great story, and they sprinkled the big spot moments throughout the match, which was just absolutely great to see. And like I said, for me, it was match of the night. It was just spectacular. To close the show, we had the tag team match of Jade Cargill teaming with women's champion Tiffany Stratton, taking on Nia Jax and Naomi. It wasn't a bad match, but it had its entertaining moments, but it felt a little bit flat of what is being considered that this was the main event of SmackDown. To be honest with you, this probably would have been better as the first or second match and actually keep the Damian Priest and LA Knight as the main event. And after last week's match of the year candidate, the tag team TLC match, you can see why that a lot of people are like, it was alright. Because again, we had a bona fide match of the year, 10 out of 10 match, and then you went into this. But except there was some fun moments in this, but we actually saw Jade show off her strength as she got the win because she powerbombed Nia Jax. And to be honest with you, with these four, I think it would have been better as a fatal four-way because the potential's there. The potential is there to have a great match. As I said, we actually got the win for Jade as she powerbombed Nia in a great show of strength and she got the win. Overall, it wasn't a bad show, but it wasn't exactly great. It was like in the middle of bad and good. It was alright, There were some great moments. We had a phenomenal, just again, incredible match between Rey Fenix and Escobar. And for me, again, Chelsea Green stole the show when she's on camera. She just shines and she needs to be in the main event picture. She really does. But overall, though, for myself, the show rating is a 7.8 out of 10. If you are new to the channel, like and subscribe. We do these each week, every Tuesday and Saturday for Raw and SmackDown. And if you got any PPVs, we will be covering them as well. And we may start doing an NXT review on Thursdays from the Wednesday show. Let us know down below, folks, and I'll see you soon.